Mr. Turamye. First of all, good morning.
Morning, Oliver.
You're welcome to Good Morning Uganda.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, when we speak about public procurement and disposal of public assets authority, first of all, let's have an overview of what PPDA stands for and what its mandate is.
Thank you, Oliver, once again, and good morning, viewers. This morning, I'm delighted to be in UBC studio to share with you what we have specifically for women, youth, and persons with disabilities. But to begin with, PPDA is a statutory body established by an Act of Parliament in 2003 to regulate public procurement and disposal of public assets of Uganda. A regulation doesn't really mean that you are putting controls, but facilitating the processes and the systems of public procurement and disposal. And when we talk about public procurement, we are talking about what the government buys for public use. And when these assets are bought, specifically like vehicles, like machinery, road equipment, finally, the end point is to dispose them or to sell them off again.
Okay. Because
maybe they have served their usefulness, and now it is time to get rid of them. But more especially to avoid high cost of maintenance and operation at the old age. So the regulation covers what you'd call all government agencies. And here we are talking about ministries, local governments. If we talk about local governments, and we are talking about higher local governments, and higher local governments are districts, municipalities, and cities. If you go to lower local government like sub-counties or town councils, those are user departments. They use PPDA rules, but as a user department which submits their requirements to the district or to the municipality or to the city. Also, statutory bodies like authorities, like Uganda Revenue Authority, Civil Aviation, like all authorities, all parastatals use the PPDA rules. Commissions, like Uganda Human Rights Commission, Public Service Commission, public universities, referral hospitals, all those must use government procurement procedures. And currently, I would put the number, because at times new agencies are created, at 440. That is where our mandate covers in terms of regulating. And the procedures are clearly documented in the Act of Parliament in terms of what do you need to do to handle a public procurement. And the public procurement, again, you are talking about works. If you see all these roads that are done by government, if you see the buildings that are constructed by government, if you see bridges, irrigation schemes, water dams, all those are government procurement in terms of works. If we talk about supplies or goods, there are also a number, medicines, what is procured by national medical stores, equipment, road equipment, vehicles, stationery, computers, even UBC, by the way.
The cameras and
everything. Is a procuring entity, is one of the entities that we regulate. So all these cameras are must be procured through a public procurement procedure.
Okay.
Then if you talk about services, so those are the three types of the services, like consultant services for designing these buildings, for supervisory services, audit services, even when we have like any consultant service must also, procured by government, must also use PPDA rules. But also we have non-consultant services, like cleaning. I believe UBC has a contracted cleaner.
Yes, we do.
For these buildings, and or security services that you procure from these private players, or catering services. So it's a big mandate. And here we're talking about 60% of the annual budget goes through public procurement. If Honorable Matia Kasaija reads the budget like he read this financial year of 72 billion, you remove the debt service, you remove your salary, the wages, you remain with about 35 trillion. And 35 trillion, if you subject it to 60 to 70% of the public procurement, this is around 21 trillion. So 21 trillion that the government spends annually must use the PPDA procurement procedures. To arrive, the intention is to arrive at the contractor. When you are procuring a contractor, if you want to have this studio constructed, you need a contractor.
That's right.
So must follow those procurement procedures. Whether it is service, whether the supplies, you need a service provider that will give, because we believe also it is in support of the private sector growth. Otherwise, if we are procuring them ourselves, like a government official goes to buy, you are using public resources. So you must observe the principles. We also, actually the principles are also enshrined in the PPD Act. The basic principles of transparency, competition, economy, how are you getting these things? They are value for money in terms of, but if you are going to go, for example, direct is also provided for, but must be clearly justified if you want to go single sourcing. So that means you are in breach of the principle of competition.
Yes.
Then you must justify, but also even if it is direct, then you must observe the value for money element. If this camera is on the market is maybe 10 million, if you subject it to competition, maybe you get the best price on the market.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now we have an understanding of what PPDA stands for and also its mandate, according to Mr. Turamye. Everything government procures must follow the PPDA procedures. And if you're just joining us, PPDA is Public Procurement and Dispose of Public Assets Authority. And I'm speaking to the Executive Director, Benson Turamye, to help us understand the participation of women, the youth and persons with disabilities in the government procurement processes. Now, Mr. Turamye, when it comes to marginalized groups, kindly share with us the provisions that of PPDA Act Cap 205 and the guidelines of 2024, which make for the inclusion of marginalized groups to participate in public procurement.
Yeah, public procurement on its own, if you are talking about public procurement per se, may not be very important if it is not delivering the services it is intended to deliver. So it should be used as a vehicle service delivery. That is the purpose. And in an efficient and effective manner. Otherwise, if we say public procurement, you go to the market, you get a vehicle, the vehicle comes and parks. You get the drugs expire in the stores, then public procurement is in vain. So whatever you use, whatever you deliver, then it must deliver the services to the citizens of this country. That is the whole purpose.
Yes.
You put a road, is the road used? Or you are causing havoc to the communities where you have put the road. Accidents, pollution, people that were supposed to use this road are dying because of this facility that you have put in place. So it becomes in vain. So we are talking about the effectiveness of this works or goods or services that we have delivered to the citizens. So we established, because I told you PPD has been in existence since 2003,
yes,
that there is a group, a segment of society that is not benefiting from public procurement as service providers. And the study that we did with AFIC in 2021 established that actually only 1% of women participate and win contracts from government. You can imagine, only 1%.
In a population that is, in a country whose population is predominantly women.
Yes. So when His Excellency the President directed in 2017, there was a Chankwan's declaration that all those laws or legal instruments that exist in the country that are not facilitating service delivery and economic growth must be looked into. The process started and the Parliament approved the amendment of the PPD Act in 2021. There were mainly 3 insistences by His Excellency. One was, how do we take care of sustainability, sustainable procurement?
Yes.
If you procure, now you shouldn't compromise the future. There was an issue on automation, or what you call e-government procurement, because of efficiency again, and transparency, and also minimizing corruption. Online procurement, so that I don't deal with Oliver. We deal online, you'll never see my face, I'll never see your face.
Basically trying to cut the in-person interaction, person-to-person interaction.
I believe as much as we use online money transactions, that can be easily traceable. If I send you money by a mobile or account, it is easily traceable.
That's right.
Other than closing this camera and I give you something and I leave. But so that was intended to be managed through online transactions. But more important, again, what the President insisted on, how do we provide for this group? Because if you look at the youth, even in the recent census that were read by Dr. Chris Muchiza, they are the majority. If you look at the women, the population is more than 50.
That's right.
But also aging out some of the people with disabilities, persons with disabilities. So said, how do we provide for this? So a provision was put in the amendment that there must be preference and reservation schemes to address, to benefit this segment of society, and also SMEs, small and medium enterprises. And also, if you look at the business that this group owns, really they are not large. They are not even medium. They are essentially small, micro and small enterprises that they are handling. You find someone with a catering service, someone with a small IT business services, trading in computers or stationery, providing seedlings to government. We also buy seedlings, like crop seedlings or tree seedlings. And you find these groups are scattered almost all over the country. So in terms of boosting their economic muscle, then we said we must reserve procurements, government procurements, some government procurements to this special interest group.
Okay. Now, these special interest groups, sorry to interject, the women, the youth, and persons with disabilities, what would you say is the importance of having them involved?
You see, they as we earlier commented, they are the majority.
Yes, they are the
majority. So if we improve their household income, especially actually women, if you improve the income of this woman, you are building society, farm society, because they utilize their resources properly in their households. Children will go to school. Will go to school, they will live a healthy life, they will also generally contribute to the economic growth of this country. And essentially what we are talking about, we are saying let them have a share of the other budget I talked about.
That's right. If
we are talking about 21 trillion, they must take 15% of that. And 15% of that is actually around 3 trillion. If we inject 3 trillion in this group, first of all, they will be employed, like the youth. Actually, that is the biggest challenge we are looking at. The youth are not employed. So how do you make them busy? If they have contracts, small contracts, because they have to start somewhere. That's so that they grow the competencies, the skills, and experience. So that's it. We are saying 15% of KCCA budget, or PPDA, or Minister of Education, or Masindi District Local Government, of the procurement budget must go to, you must demonstrate that the beneficiary is one of these. And what does that mean? It means the competition is within themselves. A man like me who is above 30, I will be prohibited from participating. So in that participation, I must show my national identity card. I must show my gender. And the gender, when we talk about women, we are talking about biologically female.
It's important to highlight that nowadays.
Yeah, it is important because someone can say, I'm a woman. Were you biologically born?
As a woman.
As a woman. That is, and the youth we are talking about, excuse me, the age, 18 to 30.
18 to 30.
So
actually, now that you mentioned that, who is a youth in Uganda? Is it 18 to 30? Because when you look at different studies, they will say 18, actually 15 to maybe 35 or 36. But from your perspective, who is a youth in this country?
No, we use the definition as provided in the National Youth documents, and we have also put it in our guideline. It is 18 to 30. 18 to 30. And we believe if we start getting like these contracts at 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, by that time you can graduate and start competing with the rest of the Ugandans. Because also we have reservations for Ugandans generally, which the thresholds are different. But if you are a lady like you, even after 30, then you remain in the category.
Till I can't work anymore.
You remain in that category of the women. Then, of course, people with disabilities, it is also open. I was studying a case of Botswana. And maybe after practicing this and getting this group to participate effectively, we may borrow that. Because if you are a woman, disabled, and a youth, you have a different weight because you have all these. You should be looked at as not as the same, in the same spirit.
You shouldn't be looked at in different subgroups,
yes.
But rather as one or in different subgroups.
No, you now if a woman of 40 years, or 31 for that matter, qualifies for this reservation. But if
that woman is disabled and a youth,
he gets more points.
Okay.
Yeah, if you are disabled and you are 28
and a woman,
they give you more points to qualify. So if you your price was like 10 million, let me just give an example. Your quotation was 10 million. And there is a woman who is 40 and his quotation is 8 million. They can afford to give you because you have all these qualities that the reservation is focusing.
Okay. Now, for those that are interested, where can they find these opportunities that are put aside for women, for the youth, and persons living with disabilities?
It is, again, a legal requirement under the PPD Act that all government entities I talked about earlier, the 440 government agencies, publish procurement plans at the beginning of the financial year. The financial year, for our listeners and viewers, starts in July. So this first quarter, July, August, and September, entities submit their procurement plans to PPDA and PSS, Permanent Secretary, Secretary of Treasury, Ministry of Finance. The purpose is to disclose the opportunities that exist in each government agency. And what we have communicated to government entities that they must properly now say this is reserved for SIG, Special Interest Group, reserved. So if they are going to procure 100 items, they must indicate equivalent 15% of the total budget, what is reserved for this group. But also important, if, for example, all their procurements in ministries or central government agencies are below 30 million, the estimates, meaning that you don't have big or large amounts of procurements, then all those 100% will go to this group. We are saying anything small value, 30 million, that the government entity is going to procure, central government entity must be reserved to this group. But in local governments, and I earlier defined what a local government is, anything below 10 million must be reserved to this group. So if you are Rukunjiri district local government and all your procurement plans, the estimates are below 10 million, then 100% will go to this group. But if you add the value and there are many procurements above 10 million, then identify the 15% for this group. And what I want to urge women, youth in business is that these documents, these procurement plans are public documents. You can access them in a district or an entity that you wish or you want to do business with. But also we publish these. When they submit, we publish them. They are actually published on our government procurement portal.
Okay. Now, be that as it may, one would wonder, do the women know? Yes, the information is there, but you see, most times the information being there doesn't mean that people know that the information is there. So maybe here what I'm asking is, are there any initiatives that have been put in place to ensure that there is sensitization so that people know how to come across the procurement processes for marginalized groups?
Yes, and we are doing a lot, by the way. This is one of the efforts. Being here is one of the efforts. And, yes. Focusing that. But when we are launching this reservation guidelines on 22nd March this year, it's a new development. The Honorable Minister of Finance he launched it. UBC was there at the Media Center. My training team, we have established a unit called the Local Content at PPDA, staffed to popularize these efforts. We have regional offices in Mbarara, Guru, Mbale, and this is the focus, because we are talking about public procurement, and our mode of looking at things has changed. We are dynamic facilitator of public procurement and disposal systems for sustainable national development. So we want to make sure that as a regulator, we are not like, I don't want to use the word police, where somebody is, they hide in a corner to arrest you. So that you make a mistake, they arrest you. As a regulator, we are... Traffic police. Yes. Instead of showing and people don't overtake in a blind, they hide and overtake and they get you. But we are talking about facilitating now our service providers dynamically to deliver service. And the only way is to bring what we are talking about. What is your contribution? You are crying of poverty, but the opportunities are here. They are taken. And as we grow, this group should graduate from this group and start even competing for bigger procurements. Then even those who are in the sphere of bigger procurements grow, because we have also reserved for them actually local content, under local content. For example, a roadworks of 45 billion is supposed to be done by a local provider. So these local providers, that would be subject of another day. Yes. They should graduate from the 45 billion
to something big.
To 100.
Okay.
So they compete with the Chinese. They compete with foreigners. But currently, you will see how we are aged out. Why are you aged out? You are not limited. We don't have reservation for foreign farms. So that we say, this is specifically reserved. You are supposed to compete. But eventually, you find that these contracts are won by foreign farms.
Foreign farms.
Yeah.
So, okay. That brings a lot into perspective, because there is that belief that certain contracts must be given to foreign farms.
No. It's because the local farms are aged out. They don't have experience. They want equipment. Because if you are going to do these Kampala roads, you must have done similar work. You must have equipment. You must have financial muscle. In the government, you work and they pay you.
Yes.
So if you don't have the money, you
it
can't
means
even
the works
start.
will not go on.
Yeah.
Okay, and the foreign firms come in with this money.
Yeah,
they can
times-
start, and they have the equipment
They have
and
equipment.
the expertise. So you see, dear Ugandan, where you fall short. So if you're watching and you're interested in government procurement opportunities, there are opportunities for marginalized communities, and that is women, the youth, and persons living with disabilities. And you can find this information on the PPDA website and all their other social media services, so that you can actually be a part of the procurement process of the government. But Mr. Turami, I understand that there must be some challenges that PPDA has faced and in promoting the participation of marginalized groups in public procurement. What are some of these?
You know, I said, of course, that you must compete. And there are requirements. As much as we have simplified the requirements.
But there are requirements.
There are requirements.
Yes.
You must be registered, first of all. You can't just walk into a government procurement process and say, I'm a woman.
And I'm Ugandan.
And I'm Ugandan. But you must be registered. Because the government deals with legal entities.
Registered as a business.
As a business. Whereas even you, as a company, you can be registered as a company. You can be registered as a circle. Circles, it is easy to register. You can be registered as a community-based organization. Those can register at districts, for example, at districts. But these days, even Uganda Registration Service Bureau has simplified the registration. If you want it, you register online. And we are in collaboration with them so that the registration is simplified. So that you become a legal entity, to sign a contract between even the government, if it is in error, maybe you have supplied and there is some legal argument, then if you are not a company, then you can't even sue government. So the other issue, so registration is that we have tried to, we also registered PPDA. We have what we call register providers. And we have agreed with Uganda Revenue Authority to put a window for this group. You only pay 50,000 to register.
Okay.
But the other, of course, when you have that, the challenge that is within this market is the skills. You must prepare a bidding document. We are training this group, and we are soon issuing actually simplified bidding document. So that if it is 10 million, why do you have to have a huge document or 30 million? You should have a small document so that you just fill in my age, my company, my location, my account. Those simple
So you're trying to
requirements.
decrease the red tape when
Yes.
it comes to being a part of this.
Yes.
Mr. Turami, as we come to the
But
end.
we are coming to the end. No, let me talk about the financial.
Okay.
This group, especially the financial challenge,
Yes.
they need to have money. And we are in discussion with the government. Can't you provide a window of what we call contract financing? If we have a contract, maybe you go to UDB, contract is 10 million. And some of these youth members may not raise 10 million.
That's right.
So why can't government then provide this window to facilitate the contract?
To facilitate.
So that if this youth is paid, then he can refund or he can pay back that small loan.
Okay.
With good terms. Of course, women are also complaining about bilateral. They can't get loans. They have nothing to
offer
sing,
the
I'm
lending institutions.
Yeah, so those are some of the challenges, but we are in discussion. But maybe before you end, we are also This week, on Thursday, we are going to publish an invitation in the papers. Thursday and Friday in the Monitor and New Vision, calling for them to register all over the country. You can do business where you are located. If you are in Kotido, if you are in Kitugum, they are looking for these partners because the law is there now, but they are asking, where are they? They are reserved, these opportunities are reserved, but where are these? So we want to call upon our interest group so that you see the requirements in this week's. We also will put it on social media so that you register and you avail yourself to tap from this opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Benson Turami. I believe we have gotten a clear understanding of what Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority stands for, but also the importance of women to participate in government procurement processes. Women, youth, and persons living with disabilities. If you're just joining us, Mr. Turami has shared ways through which you can be part and parcel of this, how you can win yourself government contracts and be able to serve the country, but also gain something for yourself. You'll have to find this information on their website, that is the PPDA website, and all their social media pages. But also Mr. Benson has concluded by saying that they will be publishing in the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. You said on Thursday?
Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday. So get the papers and find out more information regarding the same. And thank you so much, Mr. Benson Turami. Again, he is the Executive Director, PPDA, and he's done a great job teaching us about public procurement processes. Good Morning Uganda continues. Ruben is coming up next with the sports updates.
Thank you.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters,